Coming up on Chapman News, the U.S. urges Israel not to retaliate after an attack from Iran. We have the latest on the conflict.
This is Alexandra Conyers reporting live in Fullerton outside of the historic Hunt Library. It's been closed for over 10 years, but is finally welcoming visitors again. I'll have that story just ahead.
Also, is your wallet inflation? We have a deeper look at tipping culture, plus your weather and sports just ahead.
From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of Chapman News. I'm Dan Batson.
And I'm Luis Avila. Today we start with the latest from Israel. Israel's military chief is promising his country will respond after a recent attack by Iran.
Over the weekend, people in Israel could see the night sky light up as Iran launched over 300 missiles and drones.
A handful of Western allies, including the U.S., intercepted nearly all of them. Still, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken says the U.S. is urging Israel to refrain from a counterattack.
We have been coordinating a diplomatic response to seek to prevent escalation. Strength and wisdom need to be the same sides, the different sides of the same coin.
Officials were killed earlier this month in Syria from a suspected Israeli airstrike.
Now for the latest in the Israel-Hamas war. Israel is warning Palestinians to steer clear from northern Gaza. This past weekend, crowds of refugees trying to return to their homes were met with Israeli gunfire. 5 people were killed. Hundreds of displaced residents have been traveling along war-torn roads trying to return home. According to the United Nations, some 300,000 people are on the verge of a famine because of Israeli aid restrictions to the north. Many refugees who have been staying in southern Gaza have grown tired of their poor and overcrowded conditions. They also worry about Israel's rumored plans for a ground offensive in the southern city of Rafah.
USC's valedictorian will not be speaking at commencement next month. The university says the decision was made because of concerns about, quote, campus safety and security. In the wake of Israel-Hamas war, some students, faculty, and alumni say valedictorian Ozna Tabazum's social media posts are anti-Semitic. Tabazum responded by saying she feels abandoned by her university and that USC is, quote, caving to fear and rewarding hatred. Tabazum also wrote, although this should be a time of celebration, anti-Muslim and anti-Palestinian voices have subjected me to a campaign of racist hatred because of my uncompromising belief in human rights for all. According to Tabazum, USC administrators told her they are willing to implement security protections at commencement due to the negative image it would create. Now, California is suing Huntington Beach over the city's new law that requires voters to provide identification to cast their ballots at the polls. Critics say the requirement could make voting harder for low-income, non-white, elderly, and disabled voters. State Attorney General Rob Bonta released a statement saying, quote, the right to freely cast your vote is the foundation of our democracy, and Huntington Beach voter ID policy flies in the face of this principle. According to Huntington Beach City Attorney Michael Gates, the city has the right to take measures to defend this integrity of the election process.
Former President Donald Trump is back in a Manhattan courtroom today as jury selection continues in his hush money trial. It's the first time in history a former U.S. president is being tried on criminal charges. Potential jurors were questioned, but none were selected yesterday during the first day of the trial. Trump is charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records. Prosecutors say in 2016, Trump made hush money payments through an attorney to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in order to cover up their alleged affair.
Under New York state law, it is a felony to falsify business records with intent to defraud and an intent to conceal another crime. That is exactly what this case is about.
Trump has called the trial a, quote, political witch hunt and was seen dozing off in the courtroom yesterday. The judge in the case has rejected attempts by Trump's attorneys to force him off the case. The judge also says later this month he will consider prosecutors' claims that Trump has violated a gag order in the case, barring him from using social media to attack witnesses in the case.
The Santa Ana City Council has approved a ban on short-term rentals. Most of the rentals in question were booked via Airbnb or Vrbo. Short-term rentals are for 30 days or less. But now, under a recently approved urgency ordinance, a violation could lead to a fine of up to $5,000, up to 6 months in jail, or both. The City Council says the decision comes after various complaints from residents, including noise, trash, and parking problems. According to a city staff report, there are more than 1,100 active short-term rentals in the city. The council says short-term rentals are exacerbating the city's housing problem. Councilmember Tyviet Fan says the ban intends to target absentee and corporate landlords, those who live and operate outside of the property and use short-term rentals simply for profit, with little to no regard for the surrounding neighborhood.
Because if you have a problem with your neighbor, you just go over there and talk to them, right? You can't do that with a short-term renter. They don't care. They'll just leave. And it's even worse potentially with corporate landlords because they really don't care as long as they make the money.
Those against the ban argue it's a way for them to make some needed extra income and a violation of their rights as property owners.
The Supreme Court is today hearing a case against a former Pennsylvania police officer who took part in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. The justices are questioning whether or not a federal act can be used to charge hundreds of people involved in the riot at the Capitol. Prosecutors say former police officer Joseph W. Fisher sent text messages prior to the attack stating rioters would drag Democrats out of the Capitol. Prosecutors say Fisher obstructed an official proceeding, but the defense is claiming that the act being used to prosecute him requires the tampering and damaging of documents, which they say Fisher and the other January 6 rioters did not do.
A high-profile murder trial is underway here in Orange County. 26-year-old Samuel Woodward is charged with the murder in the 2018 death of 19-year-old Blaze Bernstein. The two had been high school classmates at the OC School of Arts. Prosecutors say Woodward stabbed Bernstein to death because Bernstein was gay. Woodward's defense attorney acknowledges that Woodward killed Bernstein, but says it was not a hate crime. A conviction involving a hate crime would carry a longer prison sentence for Woodward. His attorney says Woodward struggled with his own identity and undiagnosed autism.
One Orange County school district is feeling the impact of declining enrollment. The Ocean View School District has formed a committee that will look into the sale of some district-owned properties. Late last year, the school board voted to close Springview Middle School in Huntington Beach. That school will be converted into district offices. The school district serves Huntington Beach, Westminster, and Fountain Valley. It closed Sun Valley Elementary School in 2018. The OC Register reports the district has lost about 2,600 students over the last decade. It's been closed for more than a decade, but now the city of Fullerton has finally reopened a historic library.
Chapman News reporter Alexandra Konyarts is live outside the library to tell us more about what makes it so important for the community. Alex?
That's right, Luis and Dan. The Hunt Library is finally able to welcome visitors back to its unique space. This community gem, seen right behind me, is located right off Basque Avenue and is not only a place for people to come and enjoy books, but also acts as a multi-use facility. It's a mid-century modern building with a strong architectural significance. I spoke with community members to learn more about what makes this place so important. Take a look. It's been more than 10 years since visitors passed through these doors, so an excited crowd poured into the Hunt Library at its grand reopening ceremony on Saturday. Alan Hess, board member of Preserve Orange County, has been supporting the effort to bring back Hunt for many years. He was glad to see the turnout.
The satisfying thing is coming here this morning and seeing the huge crowd that was here. All kinds of, Fullerton citizens, young and old, all sorts of the whole entire diversity of the city, and celebrating what this is all about.
In 2013, Hunt had to shut its doors due to city budget cutbacks. The closure was only supposed to last 18 months, but ended up being for 11 years. Pamela Keller served on the city council and is currently a teacher in Fullerton. She is excited to use the library.
I'm totally excited about bringing my own students here. As soon as they say we can, I'm going to walk my class and my teaching partner's class. We have kindergarten through 6th grade multi-age students and all the parents, and we will walk here and check out some library books.
The open space in the Hunt Library will showcase art and culture exhibits, while the side conference rooms will offer library services. The building was designed by William Pereira, who also designed the Disneyland Hotel. Councilmember Bruce Whitaker believes the building's architectural significance is another crucial reason to preserve the library.
I think that it's very important, again, because there's history here, there's the architectural significance. The thing of city facilities like this, like libraries, is they don't pay for themselves. They're an investment, and that investment is to increase the quality of experience and the quality of life in a city.
The Hunt Library has been nationally recognized for its architecture, and it was even named a local landmark in 2018. It's open from Tuesday to Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and on the third Saturday of every month. This is Alexandra Konyarts reporting live. Back to you.
Thanks, Alex. Still ahead here on Chapman News, changes ahead at Disneyland. We'll tell you how Disney hopes to rein in what it says is abuse of a disability service.
Gavin Nguyen, and once again, it's hot. After the break, I'll tell you about our rising temps and your 5-day Fenestra forecast. Stay tuned.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and former President Donald Trump are proposing legislation that would require voters to prove they are U.S. citizens, even though that is already done when people register to vote. In a joint appearance at Mar-a-Lago last Friday, Trump and Johnson again questioned the integrity of federal elections, without providing any evidence of widespread fraud. Johnson referenced illegal immigrants crossing the U.S. border when he claimed there could be, quote, hundreds of thousands of illegal votes cast in this November's presidential election. Trump and Johnson say they will introduce legislation that requires proof of citizenship at the polls. Many political scientists, like Chapman professor Ronald Steiner, find statements like these misleading.
No evidence at all that there is any substantial, any significant, any important, any real issue with non-citizens voting in U.S. elections.
It is already illegal for non-citizens to vote in federal elections, and when people register to vote, they must provide a driver's license or social security number.
The Anaheim School District now says it will not have to lay off as many teachers as originally thought, as the district mulls over its options due to declining enrollment. Anaheim District Superintendent Michael Matsuda says the district will inform 26 teachers who had been told they could be laid off that they will instead be keeping their jobs. Matsuda says this comes after a review of staffing needs and upcoming retirements and resignations. Meanwhile, teachers, parents, and students have been holding weekly rallies to protest the layoffs, which are expected at the end of the current school year. Students like Annalyn Rollo say the layoffs are unfair and will take away opportunities from students.
It's teachers who are the only AP US history teachers, only psychology teachers we have, and it's really tough because these are teachers that have made an impact on our lives. They have genuinely had such an impact on us as students, and watching them leave next year over a cut, it sucks.
Anaheim Secondary Teachers Association President Jeff Morgenstern says the news from the district is a step in the right direction, but not enough, and they will continue to advocate for teachers. The district says additional rescission letters are possibly on the way.
Disney is cracking down on those it says are, quote, abusing disability access services at its parks. Disney says it is updating the terms of the service, which will now be focused on people with developmental disabilities, such as autism, who may be unable to wait in conventional lines for an extended period of time. Disney says the number of people using the Disability Access Service has tripled in the past 5 years. Those who request a pass have to complete an interview with Disney personnel. Those who currently have a pass will have to reapply. The new policy will go into effect at Disneyland on June 18th.
It has now been 1 year since the historic Queen Mary officially reopened, and the city of Long Beach says it has been a success. The city gained control of the Queen Mary in 2021, claiming in court that various companies hired to operate the ship had let it fall into serious disrepair. After over $40 million in repairs, Long Beach officials reported that the Queen has made, quote, a modest profit, just over $3.5 million. At one time, the historic cruise liner made weekly crossings on the Atlantic Ocean, taking passengers from the UK to New York. It had been part of the Long Beach Harbor since 1967, now serving as a hotel and museum. History buffs like Alex Adner say it's important to preserve the Queen Mary.
I think that there is something for everybody on the Queen Mary, whether you like engineering, because there's a whole lot of engineering fun facts you can learn. If you like maritime history, if you like history in general, if you like architecture and design, there's something there for you. If you like art, there's something there for you.
The city of Long Beach still hopes to develop the land around the Queen Mary and says it continues to make repairs and updates to the ship for the future. The ship's sun deck is next to be updated. The hope one day is that special events like weddings will be held there. Now hundreds of thousands of music fans have flocked to Coachella Valley, California to see their favorite musicians. The annual festival takes place over 2 weekends every April. Many of the biggest musicians in the world performed this year, including Tyler, the Creator, Lil Uzi Vert, and T-Pain.
Some of the stars performing this coming weekend are Doja Cat, Lana Del Rey, J Balvin, and Lil Yachty. However, according to Billboard, out of 250,000 tickets available, only 80% were sold. Ticket sales are down around 15% from last year. The second weekend of Coachella starts this Friday, where fans hope to make many more amazing music memories. Now, Luis, I know it's hot near Coachella, but it's starting to feel a little bit hotter in Orange too, huh?
I think you're right, Dan, but just to make sure, let's check in with Gavin Nguyen and see what he's warming up in the weather department. Gavin?
Luis and Dan, thank you. I'm Gavin Nguyen, and that's right. We've had yet another temperature jump here in Orange today. Right now, it's 80 degrees with plenty of sunshine. Quite a jump from yesterday's 70-degree weather. That's a 10-degree spike from yesterday to today, which brings us to above average temperatures once again. Now, there's plenty of cities across the United States today experiencing this heat. The whole southern half of the United States is all quite hot, including Las Vegas, Phoenix, 84 and 88 with sunny skies, and Houston as well. All along the south, Houston, Atlanta, and Miami all hot as well. Houston being 83, Atlanta 85, and Miami at 80. We have to go a little bit north to find a little bit of relief from that heat. Take a look at San Francisco at 67 degrees today with partly cloudy skies, as well as Seattle 53 degrees with partly cloudy skies, taking a break from some of that rain surprisingly, while Denver is 68 degrees and cloudy. Now, the places that do have that rain would be the Great Lakes region. Right now, we've got a pretty big storm passing through this area. Minneapolis getting some thunderstorms at 57 degrees, and Chicago at 69 with some rain. DC had some thunderstorms yesterday, but it's drying out today. Partly cloudy skies and 75-degree weather there. And the Big Apple at 71 degrees and sunny. Now let's take a look at our local Orange County forecast. Things are relatively the same all across our county today, but it is cooler towards the south. San Clemente at 70 degrees today in South County. Our coastal cities of Laguna Beach and Newport Beach at 75 and 72, as well as our inland cities. Westminster 77, Mission Viejo at 77 as well. Irvine is a little cooler at 75, and we are the warmest in our county today at 80 here in Orange. Now, I did want to shout out a special Chapman News viewer who visited our newsroom this weekend. She's from Long Beach, just outside of Orange County, and it's 75 degrees over there. Now, onto our 5-day Fenestra forecast. Let's take a look at your weather this week. It's going to be sunny today, 80 degrees. The heat's going to stick around a little bit till Wednesday, 79 with partly cloudy skies there. Thursday and Friday, things are going to drop off a little bit. 73 on Thursday, 72 on Friday, before ramping back up on Saturday to 75. And expect a little bit more sunshine as well, as that weekend rain trend is going to be breaking this weekend. Sunday is expected to have plenty of sunshine with some higher temperatures as well. Now let's take a look at the conditions at Coachella this weekend. If you are planning on going to Coachella, it's going to be pretty hot. Make sure you're wearing some sunscreen, you're drinking plenty of water, getting into some shade, because there is so much sunshine out in the desert. Take a look at Friday, 95 degrees. 99 on Saturday, and 101. We're breaking triple digits on Sunday. Now, if anyone is headed out there this weekend, I know I'm not, but maybe you're going to be able to see some awesome talent out there. I know I'm excited to see some highlights from J-pop group Atarashi Gakko. They're performing in that 101-degree weather on Sunday. But on that note, that wraps up my final time on weather here at Chapman News. I'm Gavin Nguyen.
Thanks, Gavin. Still more to come here on Chapman News. Who should you tip and how much? We'll have a deeper look at what's becoming called tipflation.
I'm Kevin Barr, and coming up in sports, the Lakers finished the season as the 8th seed thanks to a huge night from LeBron James. I'll have highlights and more just ahead.
Adrenaline coursing through your body. You are calling the shots. Feel the power as you control the game's narrative. From commentator to camera virtuoso, replay wizard to unyielding director. There is no better experience than being in the moment. Challenge your limits and embrace the electrifying rush that comes with the crowd's roar. You never know the epic plays you will capture and the masterpiece you could make. You could be an amateur learning on the fly or a pro wanting to expand your skills. You will always fit in. And what better place to broadcast your skills than in sports? Never knowing what is coming next and always coming across something new. Join the Chapman Sports Broadcasting Network and experience the thrill of life.
As Asian American communities continue to grapple with anti-Asian hate, one campus group hosted an event celebrating Asian cultures that drew hundreds of attendees. Chapman News reporter Gavin Nguyen has a recap of that event.
To be able to be a part of an event that kind of encompasses like everybody to be able to come together is just like super special, and like I don't take these things for granted.
That's Adrian Melanio, a singer who performed during last week's APITA celebration at Chapman University. This year's theme was Over the Moon, and Under the Moon, Adrian was just one of many performers, vendors, and attendees who showed up to celebrate Asian, Pacific Islander, and Desi American culture. APITA co-chairs Jessica Miyasato and Kaylin Lee coordinated the event. They say events like these are especially important because anti-Asian racism and hate incidents, which were widely reported during the pandemic, are still an issue.
I think it's very important for people to feel like their cultures, especially if they're of the PETA community, that their culture should feel celebrated.
This marks the 25th year the event has been held by Chapman's Asian Pacific Student Association, or APSA. APSA co-president Reese Velez says it's a huge milestone for Chapman's Asian community and beyond.
Showing off our Asian heritage is so meaningful, and it's so important to show not only like all of the Chapman community, but just everywhere in general. Be proud of who you are, because it is a part of you.
Reporting for Chapman News, I'm Gavin Nguyen.
Thanks, Gavin. Looked like lots of fun. Well, Dan, seems like the sports world is now in full swing.
That's right, Luis. After the Masters wrapped up, all eyes are now on the NBA, and you're not going to believe this, but in the summertime, we even have the Olympics.
That's crazy. Well, we can look forward to all that. But first, let's get the inside scoop from our sports reporter, Kevin Barr. Kevin?
Thanks, Dan. Elise. That's right. We got some pretty big news today, but let's go ahead and start off with the Lakers, who are headed to the play-in tournament tonight after clinching the 8th seed with a win over New Orleans on Sunday. Big nights from the King, LeBron James, and All-Star Anthony Davis propelled the Lake Show to a 124-108 win on the road versus the Pelicans. James secured his 111th career triple-double, scoring 28 points to go with 11 boards and 17 assists. Big man Anthony Davis got himself a double-double with 30 points and 11 rebounds. The Pelicans fell behind pretty early despite a 25-point effort from guard C.J. McCollum. The Lakers and the Pelicans tip off again for the play-in tournament at 4:30 this afternoon. Now over in the WNBA, it looks like University of Iowa star and all-time NCAA points leader Caitlin Clark will start her professional career with the Indiana Fever. Clark was the first pick in yesterday's WNBA draft. Stanford forward and 2021 NCAA champ Cameron Brink was the second overall pick selected by the Los Angeles Sparks. In 2023 champion LSU star Angel Reese went 7th overall to the Chicago Sky. Now for our Dodgers, who are getting ready for Game 2 at home versus the Nationals today after dropping Game 1 last night. After losing their series versus the rival Padres over the weekend, the Dodgers still struggled last night behind ace Tyler Glasnow, who went 5 but allowed 6 runs on 8 hits, including a couple of home runs. And offensively, the Dodgers couldn't get much done either, outside of a few RBIs from Will Smith and Max Muncy. First pitch for Game 2 tonight is scheduled for 7:10. Now the Angels, who are going for Game 2 against the Rays in Tampa Bay this afternoon after winning Game 1, rebounding after a rough series in Boston. The Angels offense couldn't do much against Zach Eflin last night, but heading into the 8th inning down 1, Mike Trout hit a go-ahead 2-run home run to start off a 5-run inning. Patrick Sandoval went 5 innings, striking out 3 while allowing just a run on 4 hits. The Angels bullpen gave up a couple runs, but they held on to win the game 7-3. Game 2 is set for 3:50 this afternoon with Jose Soriano going for the Angels. Now here at home, Chapman women's golf team recently competed in Skyac 2 in Pomona. The team finished tied for 5th. Kyla Higgins made school history by finishing 1st for the tournament. She is our athlete of the week. Higgins began Higgins became the first Chapman in women's golf history to finish a tournament at the top of the leaderboard. The senior business major tied for the top spot after shooting 3 over the first day and 2 over the second day. She was deemed the winner after a scorecard playoff. Her score of 145 is also the lowest in Chapman program history. Higgins says she knew she was in contention for the win, but focused on enjoying herself in the moment.
Overall, just staying calm out on the golf course and trying to have fun with it. That's when I play my best, is just like staying light on the golf course and overall having a good experience. Not trying to think too much about the results and just taking it shot by shot.
Both golf teams will compete next in the Sky Championship at Los Serranos Golf Course later this month, April 28th through the 30th. Thanks for watching. I'm Kevin Bard. That is it for my time at the sports desk. Dan Batson will be here next week with your sports news, and back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Kevin. Look forward to sit over there, but a world-starred, Michelin-starred Taiwanese restaurant known for its soup dumplings is adding a second location here in Orange County. Din Tai Fung announced it will be opening in downtown Disney as soon as this summer. It has another location in Costa Mesa. The restaurant is famous for its dumplings, which attract long lines. The downtown Disney location will be the chain's 9th restaurant in California. They also have locations in Seattle, Portland, and Las Vegas.
You've probably noticed this, but since the pandemic, the price of just about everything has skyrocketed, including tips. This is called tipflation, and some people think it has gotten out of hand. Our Kate Worsham took a deeper look at tipping culture and the way it is changing the service industry.
We see it everywhere these days. 20, 22, and 25% tip options. And more than see it, we feel it. At least our wallets do. According to the mobile credit card reader Square, about 40% of services in the U.S. had a tipping option in February of 2020. After the pandemic, that number rose to 74.5%. Tipping culture, as it's known, has become a hot topic these days. I asked the people of Old Town Orange, where some establishments have tipping options that are as much as 35%, how they feel about these new standards.
It's almost to the point where it's as much as the meal itself.
But how has tipping gotten so out of hand? The pandemic, inflation, and the increase in minimum wage are all factors that led to increased tipping options. But asking customers to pay more in tips has seemingly backfired. Megan Cornelius, owner of Zazie, a tipless restaurant in San Francisco, says she thinks suggestive tipping is what's putting people off of tipping as a whole. She explained her restaurant's tipless philosophy and how she believes it's helped the business grow.
So many reasons that people do tip and don't, which is kind of why we went to the policy. We're like, let's just take all that out of it.
I also asked what customers think of the no-tip policy.
Hear them mention it. They're like, I love that was like tip-free and what a great idea.
While Zazie is thriving, restaurant workers nationwide are feeling the effects of the new outlook on tipping. A survey from Bankrate found that 2/3 of people have a negative view on tipping. In 2023, tips were down nearly 10% for restaurant servers. It's hard to say if tipping prices will continue to increase, but most experts agree that the ceiling has to be near. This is Kate Worsham reporting for Chapman News.
I'm Kate Robinson. Dating apps are how many people find their significant other, but now reports say Gen Z is rejecting the apps. I'll talk to some students to find out why.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Bars and restaurants in California have about 2 months to prepare for a new law requiring them to provide free drug testing for alcoholic beverages. As of the July 1st, the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, or ABC, will require bars and nightclubs to provide the kits at no cost to customers. The kits will test drinks for commonly party drugs known as roofies. The new law will also require bars and nightclubs to prominently display a sign that says, quote, "Notice from the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, don't get roofied. Drink spiking drug test kits available here." Ask a staff member for details. Now, OC Parks have announced the musical lineup for its free summer concert series. The concerts will be held every Thursday evening from June to August, taking place in various parks around Orange County.
The lineup includes a mix of local and national groups such as Flashback Heart Attack and 1,000 Horses. Among others, food trucks will also be on site. Head over to the OC Parks website for more info.
Wow, I think these upcoming events are the perfect opportunity to meet somebody or possibly go on a date. Wouldn't you say so, Dan?
Well, I am a huge sucker for a picnic date, and without a doubt, our feature reporter, Kate Robinson, is here to talk to us about dating apps and its use among Gen Zers. Kate?
Thanks, Dan and Luis. Well, we wanted to know how Gen Z feel about dating. According to several studies, Gen Zers, those aged 12 to 27, are actually moving away from the dating apps and prefer to meet people through setups from friends and family. I wanted to see if this was true, so I talked to some students and young locals at college night at the bars and restaurants near the Chapman campus. Here's what I found out.
I'm single.
Single.
Taken.
I'm taken.
Single.
You're single?
Single.
I'm taken. Taken.
Okay, how'd you guys meet your significant other?
Super romantic pool party. It was awesome.
Do I be honest?
Be honest.
Yes, to be honest.
I was hooking up with a friend.
Do you think dating is overall very hard? Is it tough right now to meet someone?
Yeah. It's brutal out there.
It's really brutal out there, yeah.
I feel like dating in this generation is kind of not the same as it once was back in like the 90s. Like my parents, I don't know.
Do you think it's better or worse now?
Worse, for sure.
Is dating hard nowadays?
No. No.
Why is it not hard?
Well, not for me personally.
Are you on the dating apps or no?
Not currently.
No, definitely not.
I am very inactive, but I still have it right now. I've never been on a date from a dating app. It's a little creepy talking to someone only online because they could be an axe murderer and want your head for their basement.
A lot of them are creeps.
I'm banned from Tinder because I pretended to be a woman.
Does it shock you guys that Gen Z is moving away from dating apps more and more towards like setups from friends and face-to-face at all? Does that shock you?
No, I like that.
It doesn't shock me at all.
I think that people have seen like so much of social media that it's gotten them to a place to the point where they want to dial back from it and get to know people on a more like person-to-person basis, especially like COVID. Oh my God, that messed it up for us.
A couple of my friends who have graduated, they all are religious on the dating app, so that does kind of surprise me.
Would you rather meet someone face-to-face then?
Yeah, I'm so awkward. I could never do face-to-face. Yeah, that would be like my personal nightmare.
If your mom were to set you up with a girl, would you trust her judgment?
100%.
No?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Nice.
I wish she did.
Absolutely not.
Okay, no, not that far. Not in the slightest. Not that far. Never.
No. My mom would not know my taste. She'd be like, "Oh, I know this." It'd be the first gay person she's ever met in her entire life. Mom has good taste, but she wants to set me up because she's pretty sad that I'm single. But like, I just tell my mom like I'll find the one soon. Like it's no big deal, and she's cool with it. But she has great judgment. Like I would trust her opinion.
After talking to dozens of students last week, many of whom were not in the video you just saw, I can confidently say that there is an overwhelming number of single Gen Zers who do not like the dating apps and find dating in general to be extremely difficult. So if you feel extra single during this Couples Appreciation Month, rest assured that there are plenty of others in the same boat. This is Kate Robinson for Chapman News. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you so much, Kate. And as one of those singles, I'm not looking forward to starting any of those dating apps anytime soon. I'm Dan Batson. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Chapman News and me at Dan the Man Batson. And follow us on YouTube at chapmannews.tv.
I'm taken, but still follow me at Luis Avila News. I'm Luis Avila. Thanks for watching. We hope you join us again next Tuesday for more Chapman News.
From Dodge College of